I most welcome candidates of Kampala Junior Academy. As usual, this is Teacher Hawa. I'm going to take you through the English lesson today. The last time we were together, we looked at electronic media, radio and television, and the first conditional, or what we call if one. And we said that when looking at the if one, if one takes the present simple tense, if one takes the present simple tense plus the future simple, which is will or shall plus a main verb. And I left you with an activity to do regarding the if one. Today we are looking at the second conditional, or if two. Remember that what we are doing here, like I told you the other time, is a revision of our P6. It comes under the theme electronic media, but as revision. So we don't really go through into details because we already know this stuff. The issue is reminding you what you learned in the previous class. Even in primary 5, you looked at if 1 and if 2. Primary 6, we looked at if 1 and if 2. So after the if 1, we are now going to if 2, which is also called the second conditional. What do we have? What happens in the second conditional? The second conditional, or if 2 takes the past simple tense plus would. Past simple tense plus would plus main verb. Past simple tense plus would plus the main verb. Let me give you an example of a sentence here, which is in the if 2. Alright. An example, we have example A. If I got money, I would buy. If I got money, I would buy a radio. If I got money, I would buy a radio. Now, when you look at the if clause, I told you the last time we were together that we have two clauses in this sentence. We have two clauses in a sentence that looks at conditionals. When we are talking about ifs, even when they are not ifs, many a time we have two clauses in a sentence. The clauses may be separated by a comma or by a word. In this situation, the clauses are separated by a comma. Now, this clause which has if, the clause which has the word if is what we call the if clause. So when I start saying that this is what we do in the if clause, you understand that that is the part of the sentence which has the word if. And then this other sentence here, or the clause here, is what we call the main clause. It's called the main clause. This is the if clause, and this is the main clause. Now, if 2 is composed of the past simple. The past simple in the if clause. The past simple in the if clause. This is the if clause. Okay? And this word got is the past simple of get. Is the past tense of get. And then the main clause has got would. The main clause has got got the word would plus a main verb. By now, candidate, you should know what a main verb is. We have main verbs and helping verbs. The main verbs are those ones which indicate the action. Buy is an action. Sitting is an action. Dance is an action. Helping verbs are those verbs which help us to identify tenses like is, was, been, has, have, those ones. Alright? Now, let's look at one more example in IF2. One more example in IF2. Part B. That is our second example. It reads, the girls would listen to music if they were not busy. The girls would listen to music if they were not busy. Now, when you look at example B, we have used the if in the middle. In example A, we use the if at the beginning. This is all if too. When we use if, we may use it at the beginning of a sentence, and when we use it at the beginning, we must have a comma. Remember, I told you that at this level we don't cram where to place commas. But when you say out the sentence, you must feel the pause within the sentence. When I say, if I got money, of course I feel that there is a comma there. If I got money, I would buy a radio. If I got money, that means there is a comma. Now listen to this one. The girls would listen to music if they were not busy. When I mention that sentence, when I say out that sentence, you don't feel any pause anywhere. Therefore, there is no need for a comma. We never put a comma when we use if in the middle. Alright? Now, we have placed our if in the middle. The girls would listen to music. We have brought the main clause at the beginning. And the if clause is coming at the end. We say that the main clause takes would plus a main verb. The if clause takes the past simple tense. That is if two. However, there is no examiner who is going to ask you to rewrite a sentence in if one or if two. Not at all. For you, what are you supposed to master? That when I'm dealing with if one, I deal with present simple and future simple. When it's if two, I deal with would and past simple. And you should be able to rewrite a sentence from one if to another, even where they've not told you that this is if one and if two. I told you that at this level, when we are looking at content, we also look at the examination. How does the examiner test this kind of work? That is what we are going to look at now. The examiner may bring, let me talk about sample questions. Here. The examiner may test where you are simply filling in a suitable word. Fill in a suitable word. And they give you a question like this one. I would go to Kampala, dash, I got time. That is one way of testing. Then, an examiner would also ask you to use the correct form of the word given in the brackets. Use the correct form of the word given in the brackets. Children, what are we looking at? We are looking at the way such work is examined. Questioning techniques. So, then they would say, if Mukasa dash a radio, if Mukasa dash a radio, he would listen to music. If Mukasa dash a radio, he would listen to music, and in brackets they give you the word by. That is another way of testing. So let us first look at this. Now here they say fill in a suitable word. I would go to Kampala dash I got time. What is our answer going to be? You are filling in a suitable word. Here our answer will be if. I would go to Kampala if I got time. When we come here, it says use the correct form of the word given in the brackets. If Mukasa dash a radio, he would listen to music. As a candidate, the moment a sentence begins with if or has if anywhere, here the if is in the middle, here it's at the beginning. The moment a sentence has got the word if, they are testing ifs. They are testing ifs. Now, for you, what should you know? You have read the question. If Mukasa dash a radio, he would listen to music. You remember that teacher told us that if we have would and a main verb, we are looking at if two, meaning that here we are going to write the past simple tense of this verb given in the brackets, because the verb must change to past simple tense in if two. Therefore, our answer will be if Mukasa bought. If Mukasa bought a radio, he would listen to music. Now, where do children go wrong? For them, when they look at a question and read it, they just write anything that comes to their mind. So you'll find somebody writing, if Mukasa had bought a radio, he would listen to music. That is not correct. That would be correct if the sentence had have here, saying if Mukasa had bought a radio, he would have listened to music. So now, because of would and listen, our answer is bought. This is another way in which ifs can be tested. We are looking at the third one. We are looking at the third way in which they can be tested, and after that we shall have a simple activity before we go to the use of unless. Remember, we said that when we are looking at ifs, we also look at unless at the same time because they move hand in hand, and what we are doing here is revision. Remember, when we were in P6 and P5, we would look at if, then we finish. Then another day or another 2 days we go to unless, like that. But now we can bring the two of them together because what we are covering here is not new to you. So, which other way can an examiner use to test if or ifs? They could say, rewrite as instructed. Rewrite as instructed in the, rewrite as instructed in the brackets. Rewrite as instructed in the brackets. This is normally at question 31 to 56. subsection 2. Remember, we have three sections in an examination paper of English. What we looked at here in 1 and this other, let's put maybe 2. In 1 and 2 is question 1 to 30. This is where such work may appear. But now we are going to the rewriting part, 31 to 50, subsection 2. How can they test ifs in this subsection? Okay, let's look at this. If I get time, I will go to Kampala. If I get time, I will go to Kampala. What are my instructions? Let's make clean here. If I get time, I will go to Kampala. Now, an examiner may use any one of the instructions I'm going to write here. But what the answer they're expecting is the same. We write the sentence. Using got. That is one way. Let's look to this as A. In B, an examiner may say, rewrite the sentence. Rewrite the sentence using would. Rewrite the sentence using would. For these two instructions, you require the same answer. The examiner could give this or this for such a question where they are testing if two. Now, what do you do as a candidate? You read the question. If I get time, I will go to Kampala. Normally, I advise people to have pencils when they are writing an examination for trying out, working out. We don't only work out in mathematics. Get this word got that they've given you here. Bring it where we have get, because the examiner wants you to replace get with got. The moment you have past simple tense here, it means that where you have will, you are going to change it to would. Would is the past tense of will. The moment you change this to past tense, you also change here to past tense, and you have the answer. As simple as that. So you will write your answer and say, if I got time, comma, I would. If I got time, I would. If I got time, I would go to Kampala. If I got time, I would go to Kampala. The same answer will apply for this. Why? Because they are asking you to use would, which is here. So you are going to write the same answer. Where do candidates go wrong? They tell them to use would, and for them in their answer they use would have, making the answer wrong. The moment they give you would, they are testing if to. Alright? Now, we are going to try out this. Then we shall look at the use of unless with if to. Unless with if to. The examples that I gave in 1 and 2, I think we may not go back there. That is very simple work for you to do, but let's look at the rewriting part. Rewrite as instructed in the brackets, and because we looked at if 1 the last time, so I'm going to mix the if 1 and the if 2. Remember, I've told you that we don't have any examination where you will be asked to rewrite in if 1. No, the issue is for you to know the tenses used in each of the conditionals. Where you find will, of course you know that that is if 1. Where you find would, that is if 2. So it's a matter of knowing how to interchange the verbs and how they move. Okay. Okay, the last question is here. Alright, candidates, we shall continue from there next time. We shall look at the use of unless with IF2, and we also look at another way in which IF2 can be used. Alright, please, you do that activity and then we shall continue from there. Thank you.